You're never too old to change, to learn about other worlds that may have been hidden to you up to that moment. Sometimes that change comes with age and experience. Sometimes it comes in a single blinding Damascene flash. Hello, I'm Peter John Cooper. This 10-minute tale is about somebody I actually worked with many years ago. Of course, this was before all the events in this story happened. It's called the Mannequin Choir. It's not that Kevin disliked his job. It was just part of his life that took place between everything else. Between waking up and going to bed, between putting a paper down and picking it up again, between walking out of the gym and walking back in again. He had nothing against his job. It was just that he never really noticed it, and that is how he liked it. Some years ago, he decided to apply for a course to obtain a security badge. It was a bit expensive, but he thought it might be useful, and perhaps it might be a bit of a change. Up to now, though, it hadn't done anything more than provide a means for getting through those odd hours when he wasn't doing anything else. He avoided door work if he could. That meant getting up close and personal with the sort of body odours he would rather avoid. So he fell into nighttime guarding work where he could find it, and as it turns out, he was good at it. Maybe imagination would have proved a hindrance. All the time expecting some nutter to jump out at you with an axe. Best not consider those possibilities. This was in the days when department stores still existed, and there were several on every high street, so that when a plum job came up as a nighttime guard at a well-known department store, he was a natural for it. There was nothing to demand thought or imagination. There had once been an attempted break-in through a back door, but Kevin had shone his torch in a somewhat menacing way, and the breakers in had scarpered in short order before he went for his tea break. This had earned him a note of commendation from the store manager and cemented his job. He took to leaning on the rail of the grand staircase and surveying the sales floors below in a proprietorial manner, and thinking that all in his life was untroubled. Even if he might have some occasional twinges from some part of his being that might have suggested there was something more to life, something he was missing out on. There was only one thing that Kevin disliked about guarding the store at night, and that was the presence of the mannequins, the dummies as he called them. In a department store, there are many mannequins, not only on the fashion floors, men's and women's, but also draped about the sofas of soft furnishings, displaying bits and pieces of kitchenalia in the kitchenware department, and even dressed up in dressing up clothes in the toy department. The mannequins seemed to be there specifically to upset the aura of goodwill that he experienced generally. There was a corridor leading along from the first floor landing, and If there was a full moon, it shone in through the big stained glass window at the end. The corridor was lined with mannequins, and the moonshine would cast long, exaggerated shadows. The poses that the mannequins had been set in had hands set at strange angles, and the effect of the moonshine and the shadows made them look like a spiky forest of cactuses in an alien desert planet. Kevin did not like that corridor, and he avoided it if at all possible. But even when he turned his back to survey the floors below from the landing, he could feel something chill his spine like a draught of cold air coming from the window at the end. He would have to report that, he thought. Any loose casement might provide a way in for ne'er-do-wells. What's more, he thought he could hear... No, it was just that draught playing over the sharp fingers of those figures. But the strange resonance did make it sound as though they were whispering together. Well, the more the job went on, the more he grew to dislike the mannequins. He took a certain delight in giving them the occasional shove as he passed, shining his torch in their eyes and telling them that there was nothing they could do to scare him. But still his unease grew, and so did the whispering. And then there was the humming, a low, susurrating breath of sound like the wind in the wires on the telegraph poles on a deserted road. They really did need to get that window fixed. One day, the manager asked him if he would mind coming in a bit early and helping with some clearing up that was happening as the displays were given a seasonal makeover. Kevin was happy to leave the gym an hour or two early and arrived at the back door to find some of the old display materials being chopped up and thrown into wheelie bins. A pile of odd, chipped and broken figures lay in one corner. Mannequins that were well past their useful lives. "Well, leave those dummies to me," said Kevin, and attacked them with sudden, unexpected gusto, crunching into the plasterwork, stamping and twisting, pulling back those stupid, stiff, sharp fingers until they snapped. "Hey, easy, Kevin," said the manager. "They can go in the bin as they are." Kevin was making up for months of whispering behind his back, but by the time it was required for him to take up his normal duties for the night, he felt oddly odd. As though... No, he couldn't put it into words. At this point, you may think you know where this story is going. The dummies come to life in revenge for his unfeeling destruction of the old mannequins. Kevin finally flips and destroys the store in a fit of total madness and is found in the morning hanging from the balcony rail, a look of abject terror on his face. But no, you are wrong. This is a story of redemption. True, that night, As Kevin prowled the store and the moon shone hard and bright through the stained glass window on the corridor where the mannequins made strange alien shapes, Kevin again began to hear the whispering and murmuring. Coming in early meant he had not eaten his tea as usual. He felt light-headed with hunger. He paused on the landing, looking down over the sales floors below, the sound seeming to develop into a strange, dreamlike miasma, the sort of unearthly sound that boys in the back row of the year 10 make as they try to unnerve the supply teacher, the sort of unearthly humming that seems to have no point of origin. A sound intended to disturb and irritate. Kevin felt something odd crawling in his stomach. The sound had now grown and intensified, a great swelling orchestral sound that lifted him up and out of the mundane. The mannequins had indeed come for their revenge and seemed to float and shimmer before him. They had become as a choir of angels, causing him to exult in their beauty, captivating him, ensnaring him in the far distant world of loveliness. He ran down the corridor, embracing the mannequins there, tears streaming down his face. For the first time in his mundane, humdrum life, he was lifted up and transported into a realm that had been so alien to him before, the world of imagination. His life changed forever, snatching him away from his comfortable, numb existence, releasing in him that great wave of being that had kept him beaten down for so long. And had you passed by the front of the store in the small hours of the morning, you may well have seen a figure standing at the rail of the first floor landing, silhouetted in the coloured moonlight, conducting the great choir below. The upshot was, of course, that Kevin gave up security work and enrolled himself on a music course, and so on and so forth, which is how I came to work with him in later years. Well, that's the end of today's story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll click on the like and subscribe button so that you hear when the next 10-minute tale is due next week. Bye for now.